will start in the highest operating mode the computer can use, but a user may force it into lower modes by typing win/r or win/s at the DOS command prompt. If user selects an operating mode that cannot be used due to lack of RAM or CPU support, Windows merely boots into the next lowest 1.52 reception. Windows 3.0 is considered to be the first version of Windows to receive critical acclaim. 1. Users and critics universally lauded its icon-based interface and the ensuing ease of performing operations. 13, 14, 25, 53, as well as the improved multitasking and greater control over customizing their environments. 20, 53, 54. Computer World considered the software to share the same benefits as OS/2 and Unix. 13. Gary Ray of Lotus considered this version of Windows the first of the environment to bear serious long-term consideration. 14. Bill Howard of PC Magazine found its user interface to be easy to use, though not quite as intuitive as Macintosh. 53. The editor of InfoWorld, Michael J. Miller, had faith that PC users would fully transition from the preceding text-only environment to the GUI with Windows 3.0 as their primary course. 55. One critical aspect of Windows 3.0 is how it managed memory. Before its release, users of previous versions of Windows were burdened with trying to circumvent memory constraints to utilize those versions' touted capabilities. The Windows software occupied a large amount of memory, and users regularly experienced system slowdowns and often exceeded memory limits. Windows 3.0 also had relatively high memory requirements by 1990s standards, but with the 3 memory modes, it was praised for using memory more efficiently, removing the 640 kilobyte limit that had existed in computers running on Microsoft software since DOS, and supporting more powerful CPUs. 13, 14, 53, 55. Ted Needleman of the computer magazine Modern Electronics called Windows 3.0's GUI state-of-the-art and compared Microsoft's previous attempts to produce such a GUI to Apple's early attempt and the predecessor to its far more successful Macintosh. He cautioned about the seemingly cheap upgrade cost of $50 when the system requirements and the need to upgrade any installed applications for compatibility are considered. He also cautioned that the software's advantages could be taken only by running Windows applications. 8. However, in February 1991, PC Magazine noted a vast array of applications designed specifically for Windows 3.0, including many that had yet to be available for OS/2. It also cited 2 other factors leading to the operating environment's success. One of them was the inexpensive cost of the hardware needed to run it compared to the Macintosh, and the other was its focus on fully utilizing hardware components that were relatively powerful by its time's standards. 56. Amid the unprecedented success of Windows 3.0, Microsoft came under attack by critics as well as the United States Federal Trade Commission, who alleged that the company had attempted to dominate the applications market by luring its competitors into developing software for IBM's OS/2 while it was developing its own for Windows. 57. At the time of Windows 3.0's release, Microsoft had only 10 and 15% of the market's shares on spreadsheets and word processors, respectively, but those figures had risen to over 60% in 1995. 58, overtaking previously dominant competitors such as Lotus Development Corporation and WordPerfect. 59, Microsoft did indeed suggest developers to write applications for the OS/2, but it also intended Windows 3.0 to be a low-end alternative to the latter, with Gates referring to OS/2 as the operating system of the 1990s. The Windows brand was also intended to be cancelled after this version's release. 60. The investigations into and the eventual subsequent suing of Microsoft led to a settlement on the 15th of July, 1994, where Microsoft agreed not to bundle separate software packages with its operating products. 61. It marked the first time that the company had ever been investigated for anti-competitive practices. 57. Sales. Windows 3.0 is also considered the first Windows to see commercial success. 1. At the time of release, of 40 million personal computers installed, only 5% used either previous version of Windows. 62. But within its first week of availability, it rose as the top-selling business software. 63. After 6 months, 2 million licenses were sold. 57. Its success was interdependent with the PC industry, exemplified by an explosion of demand for and subsequent production of Intel's more powerful microprocessor, the 80486. 64. Windows became so widely used in businesses that Brian Livingston of InfoWorld wrote in October 1991 that a company with no PCs that run Windows is almost like a company without a fax machine. 65. Microsoft had spent a total of $10 million in its marketing campaign for the software, including the $3 million for its release. 66. When its successor, Windows 3.1, was released, sales totaled about 10 million licenses. 1. And a year later the Windows series would overtake DOS as the best-selling application of all time. 59. Windows 3.0 is regarded in retrospect as a turning point in the future of Microsoft, being attributed to its later dominance in the operating system market and to the company's improved applications market share. 58. The company used to have close ties with IBM since the former's inception. 67. But the unexpected, 57, success of its new product would lead to the two companies recasting their relationship, where they would continue to sell each other's operating products until 1993. 67. After the fiscal year of 1990, Microsoft reported revenues of $1.18 billion, with $337 million appearing in the fourth quarter. This annual statistic is up from $803.5 million in fiscal 1989, and it made Microsoft the first microcomputer software company to reach the $1 billion mark in 1 year. Microsoft officials attributed the results to the sales of Windows 3.0. 68. References. 1. Lendino, Jamie, the 20th of...
So that was Windows number 3. So this is how Microsoft did make so much money in the start of the company history. That's from the 2nd November, because I did download it yesterday. And now I can get up my bed a little bit because the video is splitted. So just read Windows 2. Windows 2, they sold like, 2 millions, 1 million copy to like $100. That's 100 millions of money. That's a lot of money back in the 80s. I think that it sold like 2 million copies. Like this. They sold 99 to $100. That was a lot of money back in 1980s. 1 million sales in 1988. That's $100 million. That's more than 1 billion. 1 billion Danish kroner. And then they have sold 2 million copy of the Windows 2.0. So that's like $200 million. So that's a lot of money. In the late 1980s, that's billions of Danish kroners. And probably they're not been so big company, so that this small company, maybe few thousand employees, not much. So that's heating like Mother Gold, so they're heating gold. No, if you, like you're gold mining and you're heating the mother loads. They're just heating gold to make this Windows, and they sell many 100 millions. And then they spent this money from Windows 2 to develop Windows 3. Actually, just like Windows 2 was just made like three persons. Look at that, 10 million copies, 10 millions multiplied with, I don't know, $50. That's a lot of, yes, that's so much money. I cannot, that's, how much is that? 10 million, 100, that's so much money. I cannot, 10 millions. Yes, $10 million multiplied with $50, but I think they even get more money. Then they sell all kind of 10 million. 50, yes, that's 500 million. That's just 500, if only $50, 500 million dollars. In Danish kroner, so that's 3,500 millions Danish kroner, $500 million. So of course, when a small company is getting $500 million, that's a crazy number of money. So probably then they have spent all this money from Windows 3 to develop the Windows 95. But that was back in the old day with the PC computers. So, and then the Microsoft spending all this many hundred millions of dollars to develop Windows 95. And then this company got I spent the money from Windows 95 to make Windows 98. Of course, many 100 million, then they sell it worldwide. That's easy to sell software because you don't need a lot of money for transport like you're making tables or computers. You only need diskettes or CD-ROM drives, or you can sell it through internet, so you don't have a lot of like to buy 100 liters of cola. It's more easy to sell a small piece of software in a small CD-ROM package. So that's part of the PC computer history. The Windows operating system is close part of the PC computer, the personally computer history. This is why I'm trying to doing later maybe. Personally computer history museum, Denmark, but I have a low income. I don't have many 100 millions like Microsoft. I'm early retired and I am on pension and have debt, so I have $1,000 in my debt, so I have to pay every month. But but you can buy this old computers very cheap, unlike the Danish Brew Papers. I get this like less $100 each. So I will continue to do this. I need to buy old computer to the LGA 775 slots because many of the cheap CPUs like Pentium 4, Pentium D, Pentium Dual Core, the Core 2 Dual Quad, you can get like $10 or less, like the Quad Core, and actually all these CPUs can run Windows 10. So I was thinking about to make some cheap Windows 10 PC computers. Not really for gaming, but just for using for Windows, because many people like me don't have so much money. They don't have $2,000 to buy expensive gamer computers. They just need a Windows computer to get online to the net banking and watching YouTube or Netflix, buying stuff in a website, using the computer to buy stuff online from web shops and watching Netflix and YouTube. I think you can do that with 15 years old CPUs like the Intel Core 2 CPUs. You can do that, and the quad-core. But of course you should always use the best CPU for the motherboard, like the LGA 775 slots. I think the quad-core CPUs is the most powerful. Or the Core 2 Duo, like 7000 or 8000 series. But that's something you need to test. But depends what kind of graphic cards. No, this old graphic card you can get like $20, $30, $40. You can get it pretty cheap. And you can get cheap computer cabinets. So actually I think you can build less $100. You can build some cheap computers just to use to go on the Windows 10. You can use to get on the internet. Maybe add some Wi-Fi. But let's continue. Let's take. I now got a lot of cola. But there's a lot of video on YouTube about the males who have a PC hardware website. They are building old computers. I know that. So, but this is not why I do it. I'll do it. I should do it because I would like to do it. I like learning about old PC hardware. Not just old. I like to be able to build their own PC gamer computer, of course. I'm a PC computer gamer and I will always play computer games. But I never spend so much money on PC hardware. I need to do that in the future. I have to spend much more money to buy some better computers. No, I spent so many thousand. I spent 50,000 hours or something crazy numbers of thousands of hours to play computer games. So why not? I never buy a good computer to like $2,000 or $3,000. I use like $100,000 for drinking alcohol. And why not spend just $2,000 or $3,000 to buy a good gamer computer? So that was stupid. I did not do that. I spent all my money on beers and alcohol, like 30 years, like $200,000 or more, and I did not buy a $2,000 computer for myself, so that was stupid. So I'm not going to do that in the future. I have to get a powerful gamer computer in the future. So, but of course I need to go to eating in the town. But I need to spend much more money on computer hardware because I'm spending so many thousands of hours to play computer games. But let's continue with Windows 3.1.